Hey guys, I'm Ted, here to give you another fast fact, and for today's fast fact, we're going to look at the Battle of Antietam. Now, Antietam took place. It is the center battle, Antietam slash Sharpsburg. It has two names. It is the centerpiece battle in Lee's first invasion of the North in his Maryland campaign of 1862. And really, the background to Antietam rest on when Lee began his movement into Northern Virginia. He crossed the Army of the Potomac and moved into Western Maryland. Thomas Jackson, of course, had a considerable contingent of Lee's forces, and he took the United States garrison at Harper's Ferry. He captured some 12,000 soldiers and a lot of rifles, shoes, clothing, food, and other war material that would go to making the the Maryland campaign of 1862 that much more successful. They were going to live off of the land. They were going to defeat the United States military and take their supplies as they went about their business of defeating that army and influencing the local politics in 1862, just in time for the elections. Now, McClellan, George B. McClellan, was the commander of the United States Army of the Potomac. And he came into possession very early on in the Maryland campaign of Lee's strategic plans for the entire campaign. Now, McClellan could have inflicted a death blow to Lee and the Army of Northern Virginia, but McClellan he was a political appointee in the Civil War. He was a Democratic general. He wanted to win the war. He wanted to defeat the rebel armies, but he did not want to defeat them in such a way that made a social revolution within the slave states. That is, he did not want to beat them so bad that they would have to accept any terms. Any terms in his mind being they would have to accept the abolition of slavery. They would have to they would have to agree literally to just carte blanche demands by the central government of the United States. Now, following all of this, following the revelation that McClellan had his war plans and that he wasn't moving fast, Lee regrouped his forces. He brought back in the forces under Stonewall Jackson, and he struck out. Lee was the most audacious commander of the war. He took the initiative from McClellan, and he struck at McClellan at Antietam or Sharpsburg on September 17th, 1862. And what will become the bloodiest single day in United States history. 23,000 casualties were inflicted on this day. It is the bloodiest day in United States military history. No other war, no other conflict, really no other event in United States history has that many people died. Have that many people died. The battle was really a stalemate. But Lee suffered so many casualties that he had to call off his invasion. He had to make way. He had to retreat back to Virginia. McClellan, for his part, did not follow up the results at Antietam. He simply rested on his laurels. He defeated Lee. He stopped the invasion. He let Lee go back. This infuriated Lincoln, and was really indicative of a number of commanders who wanted to win the war, but not really radically influence the social order of the slave states, i.e., they did not want to beat them so bad that they'd be forced to agree to anything after the war. What Antietam did, what Antietam did was it allowed Lincoln to issue his preliminary Emancipation Proclamation, which forestalled the possibility of European powers recognizing the Confederate States or signing military alliances with the Confederate States. It made freedom a war aim, a specific war aim of the United States officially. And that drove away France and the United Kingdom. The two states that were that have most warmly received the Confederate States' foreign emissaries. Both of those powers were on record as being anti-slavery. They could not grant any sort of recognition after Antietam, after the Emancipation Proclamation, to the Confederate States because they were an openly slave-holding republic. And that wraps up our fast fact on the Battle of Antietam. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys found it entertaining, thoughtful, and enlightening. As always, I'm Ted. Hit like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time for another fast fact.